Okay, so when it comes to factoring, our goal is to break it down so that we have an x in different parentheses. The reason why we're trying to separate the x's is so that we can solve for each x. So I gave you guys a hint here because I didn't list it as one of the strategies on the board, but it is something you should always check for, and that's to take out the GCF first. So in this problem, we can divide both of them by 5. So if we take the 5 out and we put it in front, the real problem is this: x squared minus 9 equals 0. So now, all the keys. Thank you. So now that bless you, has been simplified, now we can decide what method we're going to use. Now, I'm hoping you're noticing that the method is determined by how many terms you have. So if it has 2 terms, that means it's either a difference of squares or a sum and difference of cubes. Now that problem, it doesn't have any third power in it, so it can't be the difference of cubes. So that means we're going to go with the difference of squares. Now there was a pattern for the difference of squares. All you had to do is figure out the first parentheses. Once you have the first parentheses, the second one looks just like it, except the sign is different. So to come up with the first one, you just square root each term, and you ignore the minus for right now. So this gives you x, this gives you 3, so there's going to be a second one that says x and 3, and then the only difference is one's a plus and one's a minus. It doesn't matter which one you make plus or minus, because multiplication, order doesn't matter when you do that stuff. So then we also just bring the 5 down, and this equals 0. So don't forget there's also a connection between your exponent and how many answers you're supposed to get. The exponent is 2, we should get 2 answers. So this 5 out in the front, it's useless. All it's there for is to make the problem a little bit easier. It was the GCF. We don't have to do anything with it because it doesn't have an x. So now we take each x and just set it equal to 0. Oh my god, I forgot. X minus 3 equals 0, and then you solve both of them. So the first one, you subtract 3 to both sides, you'll end up with negative 3. The second one, you add 3 to both sides, and you'll end up with positive 3. So when you guys have problems, I don't care what chapter we're in, and it says to solve, if you see exponents, there's a chance that you could be able to solve it using factoring. Now today's lesson is actually going to be pretty quick because it's almost all review. There is some stuff that I need to add to it though, because I was looking at the assignment and I just remembered that on the test there's a question about like a box or something. So I'm going to make up a couple problems at the very end to make sure that that part's covered for the test. But what we're going to do today is we're going to start like adding, subtracting, and multiplying these things. Then over the next 2 days, starting tomorrow, we're going to learn how to divide them. I'm just going to highlight some of the important parts when it comes to the explanation on how to add these things. It says the sum of 2 polynomials is found by combining like terms. That's all this is, combining like terms. So in order to add like terms, you just add the coefficients, and you do not change the variable and the exponents. So we're not going to change any variables at all because that's not what you do when you add. So in this problem, first of all, how can you tell it's add? It's add because it has a plus sign in between the 2 parentheses. So all we need to do is combine like terms. So I'm going to take the 2x to the 7, and I'm going to go look for a 2x to the 7 in the other one. It doesn't have one, so I just bring it down. So that first part of the answer is 2x to the 7. Then I go to the next one. The next one has 9x to the 3. So I go into the other one, and I try to find all my x to the 3's. So there's that one. So I can combine those. I use positive 9 and positive 3, so that's positive 12. And then that remains x to the 3. And I look at my last one. It's a constant, so it's negative 5. So I go look for constants in the other one. That has a 14. So negative 5 plus 14, I think it's a positive 9. And that's your answer. So that's all there is like for adding. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. I want you to add the second, yeah. Oh, I didn't even see it. I'm glad you raised your hand. Yeah, the 2x, is supposed to combine with something else, but it doesn't have anything else to combine. So I think what I'll do, actually, you know what? I'm gonna also do the second example with you, because I have like 10 questions at the end that you guys can practice on. So let me start off by trying to do this right first. I didn't even notice this one. It wasn't even it wasn't underlined or anything, so we can't miss parts. So that's just gonna squeeze in right here. If you notice, when I write my answer, I try to go from the highest exponent down to the lowest exponent. That's the real answer. Okay. There's the second one. We'll just knock it out real quick. Bless you. So we'll knock this one out real quick. Again, it's a plus. So when it's a plus, I just use the signs in those parentheses on the right. So I've got 2x to the third. That needs to go together with the 3x to the third. So that would make 5x to the third. And I'm just going down the line right here. This one right here, it has a negative 17x squared. I go to the other one and I search for any x squared, and it doesn't have one, so I just bring it down. That is exactly what I underlined up here. That's what this is all about, yes. So anytime it's plus, we're just combining like terms. So down on this problem, the last part of this, it has the minus 5x. So I go to the other one and I look for regular x's. So there's this one. So these two go together. So I have minus 5x and minus 1. That makes minus 6x. And then I'm not going to miss this one. That one has an 8. It doesn't go with anything else. So we just drop it down and attach it to the answer. So that's our answer. Now adding and subtracting, they're very similar. All you do is combine like terms. But when we get into subtraction, there's actually something that we need to do first. So I'm going to go through that paragraph real quick. I'm going to highlight, circle, underline all the stuff that's important that you need to know. So it says the difference of two polynomials is found by adding the first polynomial. Check this out. This is the important part. To the negative of the second polynomial. So it's saying to add the first one to the negative of the second one. And then it goes into detail on what that means. It says the negative of the second polynomial is found by changing the signs. So basically on a subtraction, the first thing you do is change all the signs to the right. So if you look at the one on the right, this says positive 2x3, positive 4x, minus 4. Because this has this minus, we have to go to the right and change every sign. So instead of positive 2x to the 3, we'll have minus 2x to the 3. Instead of positive 4x, we'll have minus 4x. Instead of minus 4, we'll have plus 4. So on a subtraction, the only difference is you have to change the signs first, and then you can combine like terms. So I have 9x to the third plus, oh wait, is that a 5? Yeah. That's pretty blurry up here. So 9x to the 5 plus 2x to the third minus 1. And now we do it just like the other one. So now we just combine like terms. So I'm starting from the highest one, this one. It can't go together with anything else, so I just bring it down. 9x to the 5. The next one is x to the third, so there's an x to the third here. Plus 2x to the third minus 2x to the third. They cancel each other because it gives you 0, and you don't have to write zeros. I have the minus 1 here, but I also noticed that way over here, I have a minus 4x. All of the letters should go first, and then at the end, that's where we put the constant. So I'm going to bring that one down, minus 4x. And now I'm going to do the constants. So the constants are negative 1 and plus 4. Negative 1 plus 4 is plus 3. So there's our answer. So the big thing, and I don't know if you guys want to jot this down, but when you see a minus in the middle, you have to change all signs to the right. So this problem right here becomes minus x squared, minus 4x, and plus 3. And if you notice, once I do that, I don't have to write this minus anymore because it's already been absorbed by the 3 numbers that are on the right. Or the 3 terms, I should say. So then over here we have 5x squared minus 7x plus 2. And then we just combine our like terms. 5x squared minus 1x squared is 4x squared. Negative 7 and negative 4 makes negative 11. And then plus 2 and plus 3 makes plus 5. There's your answer. So what do you guys think about adding and subtracting so far? It's relatively easy, right, compared to some of the other stuff we've done in previous chapters. That's why I honestly feel like this next test score has the potential to be in the 80s when we look at our class averages. Okay, so we did adding, we did subtracting, so now we're going to get into multiplying. So for multiplication of polynomials, it says multiplication of polynomials is done by repeated use of the distributive property. Multiplication of binomials, that means that they each have two terms, is done by using the FOIL method. The FOIL is the acronym which stands for multiply the first terms, the outside terms, the inside terms, and the last terms. So guys, multiplication is where we start to see exponents changing. And that's why yesterday we did all those exponent rules. So all it is FOIL. Multiply that with that, that's negative 28x squared. Multiply that with that, that's plus 21x. Then we take the second one, multiply that with that. Positive 2 times 4 is positive 8x. And then take that positive 2 and multiply it to the negative 3, and that's minus 6. So hopefully you see all it is the distributive property twice. I did it with the 7x first, and then the 2 second. And then we combine like terms. So 21 plus 8 is 29x. And then I just bring down the first one and the last one. And minus 6. That's our answer. So you should also be prepared. They don't always have to be binomials. One of them could have 3 terms. Both of them could have 3 terms. Matter of fact, maybe I'll do that. I'm going to make one up like that. And I'm going to show you how to sort of organize it so it's nice and clean. Let me get rid of this one, and I'm going to make up a different problem. Let's do x squared plus x minus 2, and then let's do x squared minus 3x minus 1. The reason I'm doing this is you might see something like that on the assignment, or you're going to. I already know you are because I already made the key for it. So since this has 3 problems in it, it's all it is the not 3 problems, 3 terms. It's just going to be the distributive property 3 different times. So I'll do it in different colors, and I'll show you how to organize it. So I'm going to go like this first. I'm going to do that first one 3 different times. So that's going to give me x to the 4th minus 3x to the 3rd minus 1x squared. So that's the first one. Then I'm going to do the second one. So I'll take this and I'll do that 3 different times. Now, when I do that, I'm not going to go in a straight line and have this enormously long problem. I'm going to start a new row, and I'm just going to match up the like terms. So when I have this x times x squared, that gives me x to the 3rd. So that's a positive x to the 3rd, so I'll put it right here. And then x times the negative 3x is negative 3x squared, so I'll put that right here. So I'm just matching them up with their like terms. And then x times negative 1 is negative 1x. And then the final one is to do it with the 2 now. So the 2 goes to all 3. So negative 2 times x squared, and I'll start a new row for that. Negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. And then negative 2 times negative 3x is negative 6. Oh, just kidding, positive 6x. And then negative 2 times negative 1 is plus 1. And then to get the final answer, all we do is add them up. So we've already organized them by like terms. So this one is x to the 4th. That one is negative 2x to the 3rd. The next one is negative 6x squared. The next one is plus 5x. And then the last one is plus 1. And then that would be our answer. And guys, if you really wanted to, you could go across. But I just didn't have the room to do it. That's why I went down a level and just matched them up by the like terms. So I'm going to give you, let's see, there's about 10 questions right here. I'm going to give you guys about 6 minutes to do all 10. And then I'll post up the answers so you can check. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the answers. Hopefully this works. Maybe? Oh, I don't want to do that. Hold on, let me align this. Let's see what happens. I want to do this. I think. Let's see. Properties. Actually, is it in here? Set background fill. Here it is. This could be incredible or it could be a disaster. Bam! It didn't work. Okay, maybe I have the answers. What's this? No, that's actually it. Hold on. I know I can do this. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. Properties. Properties. Line style. Fill. Where is it at? I'm afraid to delete something. I'm not going to let this work go to waste. Border. Image transparency. Maybe. Oh, I got it. I'll have to do it with the mouse. Hang on a second. So if there aren't any, if there isn't anyone that wants to tell me I'm wrong, I'm going to move on to the last part I have to show you. I'm gonna try to relate it to something you guys hopefully have seen before and already know. If you need to come back to this, I'll come back to this later. Let me just finish up the notes real quick. So I'm going to sort of freestyle this, and I'm gonna show you what you need to know for the assignment for the test. So back in the day, when you guys first started talking about area, I think most people start like this, right? They ask you to find the area of this box. And what did you guys do when you started doing this? What did you do? You guys need to learn how to project, man. Like, I can't hear anything you're saying. How do you find the area of the big box? Okay, that's the fancy way of doing it. Before you did that, when you were little, didn't they have you count all the boxes? Yeah. Right? When you first started doing this, they had you count all the boxes. But then you got fancy, and you guys started learning multiplication, and you found that there was a faster way to do it. Instead of counting all the boxes on the inside, you could just count the boxes on one side, count the boxes on the other side, and then multiply them. So you come up with this formula that the area of any box is just length times width. You're going to get questions today in your homework where it's basically the same concept, except instead of having numbers, we're going to have expressions. So the length of this part is like x plus 6. And the length of this part would be x plus 1. And it's going to say, write an expression that expresses the area. Well, this rule doesn't change. If you want to find the area of any box, you take the two sides and you just times them together. So the area for this would equal x plus 6 multiplied by x plus 1. Now, if it says simplify, you have to FOIL it. But if it just says write an expression, this would be your answer. That's all you have to do. Now, there are some other problems where they try to get cute with you, and they do this instead. They draw almost like the old school stuff that I started telling you about. They go like this, and then go like this. Right here, they'll say that, let me see, I'll break this up too. Break this up like this. So they tell you that from here to here is x plus 1, and then they tell you from here to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 5. And then this is x, and this is 1, 1, and 1, and they say find the area. Well, the way you find the area is you just take one side and multiply it by the other side. So really the rules don't change. But we need the entire side. So in order to find the entire side, you just got to add up all the pieces. So this side is really x plus 6. This side is really x plus 3. So if they want us to find the area, now that we know the two entire sides, then all you have to do is multiply them together. And then if it says simplify, you actually FOIL it. But if it says just find the area, that's what you could write, and that would be your answer. That's pretty simple, right? I just wanted to show you because I forgot to put it into the notes. Other than that, you have all the information you need to do your assignment now. The assignment for this one is going to be every single question. I think there's like 16 questions.